Traffic duties, particularly in the towns, are an important section of the work of a police force. A member of the traffic section may be called on to perform a variety of duties, most of them bringing him into close contact with the public. In this film, we shall show a typical selection of these duties. Whatever the day's business, the first responsibility of a member is to carry out the maintenance tasks for the day. The petrol and oil levels have to be inspected, the machine given a visual check, and the tire pressures taken. In general, a high standard of cleanliness and mechanical condition is demanded of police vehicles. The member shown here has been detailed for early morning duties before the normal morning parade, and now reports to the officer in charge. This officer has a roster drawn up, allocating duties to each individual in the section. In this case, the member is detailed to proceed to a road intersection, where the morning rush hour and the presence of a school nearby make it necessary for the point to be manned. He is also instructed to check the missing vehicles board. Reports are continually coming in of missing vehicles from all over the country, and every member has the responsibility of keeping his own list up to date, and a duty to keep his eyes open for these vehicles at all times. A final quick look over his motorcycle, and then it's time for the member to leave the station in order to reach his point before the peak period of morning traffic. In the scenes which follow, you should note particularly the various points of good traffic control which are demonstrated. First, clear and definite signals that cannot be misunderstood, and special attention to the children waiting to cross. All traffic is held up for them, and care taken to see that they are all safely across before one line of traffic is restarted. The secondary line of cross traffic has built up a bit now, so it is let through before freeing the main stream towards the city centre. Once again, a special attention to the children. Then, a clear stop signal to the cross traffic, and the main city-bound stream is signalled through. The pointsman must keep a sharp lookout in all directions to prevent excess build-up of waiting traffic. When he decides the time has come, he must give a clear signal to halt the flow, allowing time for the oncoming driver to obey it. Note the effectiveness at this busy intersection of positive and unmistakable signals. Dropping one arm to the side allows turning traffic to proceed. Sometimes it is necessary to guide an oncoming vehicle by an improvised but unmistakable signal. Now the main stream is signalled on again. This stream is far the heaviest, and so will be allowed to flow longer than the others. Note that this member, by his bearing and positive signalling, takes a firm control of the traffic. Such a smooth flow as this could never be achieved by sloppy movements or hesitancy. After a while, the traffic thins, and it is no longer necessary to man the point. The member's orders detail him to leave the point at this stage, and he therefore sets off on his way back to the station, to rejoin the remainder of the section of the day's duties. Note that this member gives signals clearly and conscientiously when using the road. Members of the force have a particular duty in this respect, to set a high standard by example. The public has a right to expect the most careful and courteous driving from the police. In addition, a policeman on traffic duty must always be on the lookout for negligent or dangerous driving, or in fact, for any breach of the law. An alert outlook in this respect will make him ready to take immediate action in such cases, an important point when dealing with moving traffic. Note that the motorcyclist does not pull in front of the car until he is sure that it is going to stop. Otherwise, faulty brakes or reckless driving of the car could result in disaster. On an occasion like this, too, it is as well to put yourself in the other fellow's place. The driver of the Ford has nearly been involved in a bad accident through no fault of his own, and so may be expected to be after the sports car driver's blood. So you should tactfully keep them apart. Deal first with the driver who is not to blame. Take his name and address as a witness, and generally see to it that he feels that you are going to deal with the offender competently. Once you have restored his confidence in this way, he will probably have cooled off, and be content to carry on with his own business, leaving you to deal with the offending driver. Here, too, is another point to remember. However strongly you may feel about the way a man has been driving, you must never let this affect your approach to him, which should be courteous but firm. You must at once make clear the fault for which you have stopped him, and on no account allow any argument to develop. You will already have a record of the registration number of the vehicle. Now, you must note down the driver's full name and his residential and business addresses. Never accept a post office box number as an address. Then you must ask him for his vehicle papers, driver's license, insurance, and vehicle registration book. If he hasn't got them with him, then you must fill in the appropriate form, requiring him to produce these papers at the police station and give it to him. You should make certain that he understands that he is obliged to do this. Next, you must tell him that you wish to test the roadworthiness of his vehicle. You normally do this yourself, but if you prefer, you may require him to handle the vehicle under your supervision. Don't forget to follow the correct road drill. You may be sure that the driver of the vehicle is watching everything you're doing. First, test the brakes. Then the steering, looking particularly for play in the movement. Test the warning device and check the rear view mirror. you consider the car roadworthy, you can then allow the driver to proceed. Have a final look over the vehicle first. Well, that's a typical interlude. The member can now resume his course of duty and return to the station, where he will still be in time for the normal morning parade, at which he and the rest of the section will be detailed for the day's duty. On this particular day, the member with whom we are concerned is detailed to act as observer in a patrol car on town duties. Note that a smart turnout is demanded from men as well as machines. The patrol car has already been checked and the daily tasks carried out, and the crew can carry on straight away with their patrol. That car is obviously travelling faster than it should, so the patrol car pulls away after it. The drill here is to pull up to a reasonable distance behind the speeding car. Then you match your speed with his and keep the distance even for a period long enough to judge the speed accurately. If, as in this case, he is definitely exceeding the speed limit, you follow the usual method of overtaking and signalling him to a halt. With a two-man team like this, procedure is very simple. One member of the team checks the registration number and license and looks over the car, while the other, again using a correct form of approach, tells the driver why he has been stopped and takes down the usual particulars. The remaining procedure is the same as that shown earlier. As well as keeping a lookout as he goes, the observer is also responsible for operating the patrol car radio, and he may receive instructions from control, as in this case, when the car is ordered to proceed at once to the scene of an accident. It so happens that another member is already dealing with the accident and has that side of things under control. But the road is blocked, and he asks the patrol car crew to help by clearing the congestion. The crew size up the situation and decide on a method of clearing the jam. With one parked vehicle moved out of the way, enough space can be made for one-way traffic, and the two crew members proceed to control the flow of vehicles past the accident and clear the traffic block. In general, to prevent congestion and to keep the flow of vehicles moving steadily is one of the most important duties of the traffic section. And so the patrol proceeds through the day. Here's another tool, this time for unreasonable traffic. The member in charge of the patrol decides that this is a case for a lecture and a caution rather than for prosecution. But here too, note that correct approach and firm handling are still necessary. Time is getting on now, and the patrol crew is due to report back to headquarters. The patrol report and duplicate forms are handed in to the officer in charge, and a verbal report made. Traffic duties vary enormously, but as has been shown, smartness, firmness, and correct behavior are essential on every occasion.